All right, what's good, YouTube? It's really just a small update in the midst of all the other shit going on with the third build, the third Gen Camaro. So in the last episode, we found all the leaks with the engine, and I briefly mentioned maybe swapping to a 350.
Flashback.
In my brain, it makes more sense to just kind of focus on a 350.
A few moments later.
I might just send it for the 350 and call it a day.
15 minutes later.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of pulling that out just to put it back in, it's kind of stupid to me. And it's kind of stupid to me. And it's kind of stupid to me.
Nice.
To save myself the effort of going through all the shit with it, just end up swapping it out. Or, you know, just end up pulling the engine out. It made more sense to me at the time to just put in a 350 instead of putting back in the 305. However, thinking about it for a few days, I don't think it makes the most sense. I think it probably makes more sense to leave the 305 and cam it, because the purpose of this car was always like a cane carver, maybe a track day car, right? And so I don't really need a ton of power. It's more so I need grip.
That's what she said.
Right, I want the thing to be a grip monster. The wheel plan has been 18 by 9.5 wheels with 275 squared, which is kind of crazy because the fifth gen has 285 squared. So it should legit make it a grip monster. And that's after doing the brakes and bushings and all that anyway. But the real reason why I decided to just stick with the 305, and this might be on some Corvette owner, you know, my car is special type shit, maybe I'm coping, but doing a little bit of research about the car, I already knew the 305 high output was somewhat rare. But then being a hardtop, that makes it a little bit more special, being a Z28. I'm not gonna talk about the interior because that's kind of cringe. But then I know it would be more rare if it was manual, but having the 4-speed auto with the overdrive and then along with the 373 gears. So I feel like all those things together makes it, you know, somewhat of a rare spec. And so I was like, you know what, let's just keep it original. It ain't that crazy to fix the leaks with it. But yeah, so I really just wanted to keep it as original as possible under the notion that it is somewhat of a special spec. And also I don't need a ton of power anyway, considering I want the thing to grip. As long as it sounds good, I'm cool with that. And then, you know, with the cam, if I can widen the power band and make it, you know, add some more drivability with it, I feel like that would literally make it perfect. And also,
here we go again.
Like I said in the first episode, I'm new to the chassis, right? So it didn't necessarily make sense to, you know, immediately slap 100 extra horsepower or whatever into the car without knowing the chassis characteristics, without knowing what it's going to drive like. Granted, I was going to put wide-ass wheels on it anyway, so whatever, but probably makes more sense to just leave it as is, and then a 350 is $500-600, so I can always do that later down the road anyway. It's not like it's a crazy expense. I know some people like to buy ones, cry ones, but I'm okay with doing it the iteration way. I already said that the car is going to have multiple iterations anyway, so I'm not too hard pressed to keep the 305, see what it's like, you know, take it out to tortilla flat a few times, where again, it's tight and technical out there anyway, for those who know. It's not very, you know, wide open, it's tight, technical corners, and that's just, you know, cane carving, so it's not nothing crazy. But yeah, so you don't really need a ton of power there anyway. You really just want a lot of grip. And so I think as of right now, and for the foreseeable future, I think, unless the thing lets go when I'm trying to get it started, I think we're just gonna stick to the 305 high output, see what it runs like, see what it sounds like, especially after we cam it, and then we can go from there. But that's the plan for now. You guys let me know down in the comments if you disagree, if you think this makes the most sense, if I'm completely coping about about my car being special. I think it is. I don't know. Of course I do, right? Some more information on the Camaro. It's not at all what I was expecting to happen today, or at all, really. I thought this was gonna be, you know, just a typical project car where you're working on it and, you know, you get it, you're running, and not much to it, right? But, so today, randomly decided, all right, let me take this title to the DMV or MVD, whatever they're calling it these days. Let's get the car registered. That way I don't have to worry, or not registered, but get the title registered in my name. That way I don't have to worry about it when I go to register it after getting it running. So go to the DMV, start that process, or talking to the the clerk at the MPD, and they say they can't do anything with it. Because it's still in the original owner's name. I don't know if it's the original owner, but it's still titled in one person's name. And then it also had a signed person as a seller. So it was already signed for another buyer, basically. I couldn't register the car, so I'm thinking I can't do anything with the car. I just started all the work on it. Luckily, I hadn't invested yet, but I thought I was screwed in that, basically I just have a big paperweight that I can't really do anything with. So I get back home, I start Googling, crazy, trying to find. Initially, I was looking for the name of the person that's on the title, not the new seller. So I'm searching. It's actually, I think it's a fairly uncommon name because I was able to find that person fairly quickly. But unfortunately, they had already passed away, I think a few years ago, around 2019, I believe. And I think the main thing that confirmed this was that it was also in the same city. I'm not going to say any names or any cities, or in relation to the specifics, I guess. But yeah, so unfortunately I had passed away. So after that, I started searching for the buyer's information. And so I searched, but there's still a fairly unique name for the most part. So I was able to Google it and find, a few. But every time they were in a different state. So I'm like, this doesn't seem like the correct person here. But I Googled more. I tried, switching the letters around a little bit here and there, using what I thought was an initial, but it could also have been the last letter in their name, a clue, but I think, whatever. So searching, I ended up finding, again, it was in a different address, but they also had like previous known addresses. And in the previous known addresses, it had each of the states, Michigan, Texas, and Arizona, which I'm in Arizona, as you guys know. So I'm like, all right, this is a good candidate. So then looking more into that page, I saw a previous known address that was also the address on the title. It was awesome, love to see this. So after that, I'm like, all right, how can I contact this person? So I Googled more based off of that information, that specific name, and I was able to come across an address. And so or not an address, sorry, but a phone number. So I called, there's several phone numbers actually. So I called all of them, none of them work. And so back to Google, Google has several links. So I tried another link. Same thing, first number didn't work, second number, it rings, and the previous owner answers.
Oh my God! Wow!
and so I'm starting to talk to her. I told her my name, and this is super weird, I understand, but bear with me. I just purchased this 84 Camaro a few weeks ago, and just gave her the story, and she immediately started crying. And honestly, it choked me up too, because I honestly didn't expect this. But I don't know, maybe I'm soft, who knows, whatever. She's very excited to know that the car is going to be being restored. And if you're watching this now, honestly, maybe Google your name and get your information obscured a little bit more so that somebody else can't find you the same way I did. But super glad to have been able to speak with you and hear the story of the car. But yeah, as far as for YouTube, the previous owner is going to be super helpful and willing to, help me get the car registered, so I'm not, doing this just for, just to have the car, I guess, because I wouldn't be able to register it. So huge thanks to you, Diane. I thank you so much, you and your husband. It was great talking to you both. I look forward to getting this car restored. It honestly gives me more motivation to get this thing back to its former glory. And honestly, it kind of makes me want to, do all the body work and paint it so that, it's closer to the original. I feel like it would be a disservice to the car to erase that history and restore it. Although I get the motivation to want to restore it as well, but the character and, finding this car after the years and hearing the story, it just makes me want to leave. It makes me want to do it even more. I'm kind of torn both ways, but I think before I was always kind of partial on leaving the patina, but now I feel like there's, just hearing the story about the car makes it even more deep, I guess, for lack of a better word. So yeah, just hearing that story was great. I asked if they had any other pictures of the car when it was, still in its former glory. And unfortunately, I don't think they will, or maybe they will. I don't know. I haven't heard back with regards to that yet. So that's the story about the Turd, or its originality. Yeah, it's a special car for multiple reasons now. I already was kind of coping about it being special just, you know, for the spec sheet, but now it's actually special because I know the story behind it and how it ended up where it was. So yeah, now we're gonna go ahead and get to work. I know you guys want to hear that story too, but we're gonna go ahead and get to working on this car later this weekend, or I guess it's gonna be in a moment for you. So talk to you in a second. All right, it's the next day. I'm about to get started on dropping this oil pan, replacing that filter, as well as the remain seal. It's a 2-piece, so I'll be replacing that as well while I'm in there. And maybe the fuel pump, mechanical fuel pump gasket. And I'm probably not gonna get to the rear differential. I feel like this is already gonna be enough work to make this video extra long. So I'm gonna try to keep it to a minimum on the yapping. I talk a lot already as it is. And just do the work, right? And so most likely it'll be on a time lapse. It's the best way I can show the work without forgetting. So it'll just be a long ass time lapse, but the work is gonna get done. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I did do a little bit of work off camera, trying to get it cleaned up a little bit more because I'm not trying to be reaching in there with a bunch of spiders and shit. So I did do that. But really what I need to do here is I need to pull one side of the engine mount out, and then I'll be lifting the engine slightly, pulling the exhaust Y pipe. It has a factory Y pipe that connects both banks and then goes into one exhaust output. So as I pull that, then I'll be able to lift the engine up out of the way. So I'll probably start with the Y pipe, and then I'll move to the engine mount because it's gonna be a pain in the ass, I'm sure. And then I'll be able to get to the oil pan to do that, and then replace all those gaskets, and I'll have to clean up the pan and all that good stuff too. So, yep, that's enough yapping now. I'm gonna go ahead and get to work. And of course, with my luck, those bolts are absolute fucking seized too. I was thinking yesterday I should go get some PB Blaster or some whatever, like, you know, excuse me, some penetrating oil to knock those bolts loose. I definitely should have listened to my conscience. Those bolts are all in there. Nothing I did. I had tried my impact. Of course, that wasn't gonna work. I was just hoping I could get lucky. Tried another wrench with a breaker bar. No dice. So once again, I'm stuck.
What's wrong with you, bro? What the heck? You tripping, bro? You tripping?
Yeah, this is the part of the process that sucks the most. After this, it's all adding parts and making it cool. So I'm really just suffering through this to get to the fun part. So it is what it is. Okay, so I was able to get one of the bolts off, not the way you would expect it to. I don't like taking L's. So after I turned the camera off, I said I was gonna go get PB Blaster. I went back at it, and then I snapped it.
Stop it. Get some help.
As of now, I'm just gonna continue working on this to get this thing finished. Yeah, back to the time lapse. I'm rambling a lot. I already said I wasn't going to. My bad, but it is what it is. I'm sure they're gonna regret this later, but breaking these bolts is way easier. So as of right now, this is definitely the way to go, just to get the job done. But yeah, so driver or passenger side done now. Gonna move to the driver's side, break those ones off. Unless they come loose, they're getting broken. So gonna break those off, and then should be able to drop the Y pipe from there. More pain in the ass, because I'm gonna have to get to the driver's side engine mount. But yeah, so we're gonna go from there. Clearly I didn't do a very good job when I was cleaning out the car. And you guys let me know if I'm tripping, but I'm pretty sure this is a spider egg. Let me know. All right, both of those actually came out respectively on the driver's side. I don't know how, but so it kind of complicates things. The fact that those two came off normal, very odd, but whatever. Deal with that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, so the Y pipe should be off now. I'm just gonna get my floor jack so I have something to support it, and then I'll just drop it down the rest of the way to not hurt myself trying to just muscle it off. So it should be loose. It's really just a matter of dropping it down now. So we're gonna do that. I'll put you guys on another time lapse. You love those. I don't think all of these time lapses accurately show how much this Y pipe is kicking my ass.
Oh my god! Even though it broke, oh my god!
But it is fucking me up. So I got it off for the most part, but it's caught up on the exhaust hanger at the cat converter. There are two bolts to get the bracket out altogether, but I didn't want to try it and end up breaking those bolts. Y'all watching me struggle trying to get this thing off. So I might try to, you know, force that thing off a little bit more here, try to figure something out. And then if I can't get it, then I'm just gonna move on. After I either get it off or accept defeat. To show you guys what I'm dealing with here, this is the bracket. So it's obviously old as hell, dry rotted and twisted. And then it has the leverage of the exhaust that's now dropped hanging. So I didn't do myself any favors. I wish I knew it was there before I dropped the Y pipe, because I probably could have struggled before dropping it to get that off beforehand. Because now I think I made it harder on myself to get it off. And I don't have any lubricants. Maybe I do, and I need to just go inside. Sure. I'm gonna go inside and try, because I think it'll make my life a lot easier here. Because that thing is kicking my ass. It's absolutely kicking my ass. And I still haven't even gotten into the hard part of getting to the engine mount. Actually, honestly, after this, that might not be the hard part. That might be the easy part at this point. Who knows? All right, I can finally check back in with some progress. We got the Y pipe off, finally. That exhaust hanger was an absolute fucking nightmare to get off. First I tried pulling it. Obviously it's old and crusty, so that didn't work. I tried using like a pry bar to get it out. Obviously that didn't fucking work. I did eventually try to get the bolts out for the bracket that holds the hanger. The first one came out, so I was really hopeful. And then the second one stripped. That didn't fucking work. So then I tried more pry barring for, I don't know how long. I'm probably embarrassed to say how long this is taking anyway. But I eventually just got a cutoff wheel and a grinder, and I just cut it off. That was, was the only way it was gonna come off. So it's off nonetheless. So now we're able to make some more progress, thankfully. So now we're moving on to the exhaust. See, I'm so stuck on the damn exhaust. That's all I can think about now. But we're gonna move on to the engine mount, so that we can, hopefully if I can get this engine lifted a little bit, so that we can start working on the damn oil pan. Actually, I might have to lift the engine a little bit to even get the engine mount out, because of obviously the weight of the engine. It'll make it a lot harder than it needs to be. So I'm gonna get the floor jack over there, start working on that, and yeah, I'll start back with the time lapse now that I'm not wasting hours on end on the stupid ass Y pipe. ADHD struck again in a bad way, but we made some progress for, at some point it would matter. We took the radiator out, and with doing so, made a massive mess underneath the car. So I was supposed to be getting under there and messing with the engine mount, but I figured it would be a little bit easier to take the radiator out to get to the driver's side bolt. You can kind of see it from here, not really. Lighting's not the best, sorry. But that was the logic. So muscled that out. Honestly, it wasn't a ton of effort, but it just made a massive mess. And so now I have to either wait for it to dry or clean it. It'll eventually be a combination of both. So I'm probably gonna wait for it to dry and then clean whatever residue is left up under there, and then we'll continue messing with the engine mount to get that out. And then after that, honestly, I'll be real with you, it's been a day, mainly due to that Y pipe being such a huge fucking pain in the ass. I'm gonna go get some food, some breakfast, and then we'll come out and mess with the engine mount some more. And then we'll probably be done for the day, I'll be honest with you guys. If I'm ending it here, it's been real. Tune in for episode 3, I think, maybe 4. I'm losing track already, which is crazy, but but tune in for the next one. It's gonna be a lot of progress. Now really the work begins. This is the part that I don't like, but after this, it's gonna be nothing but fun stuff, installing new parts, etc. So this is the shitty part of the build, you know, getting it squared away. Reliable, I guess, because leaks could be bad. So it's really a necessity that has to happen, but no one has fun doing this stuff, but it has to happen. So once this stuff is out of the way, smooth sailing. So we just got to push through it.
5 minutes later.
I did come out and mess with the engine mount, and I did eventually get it out. Didn't take too long. It wasn't that bad. I just had to use the floor jack underneath the car to get the weight off of the engine, like I said earlier. After that, it was really just, it was a 16 on the front side and an 18 mil on the back side. So I just used an open end wrench, reached down there between the master cylinder and finessed it onto the nut.
That's what she said.
And then I had a my electric impact driver on the front side, and I just buzzed it off. Didn't take too long. It's really just finessing it onto the bolt or the nut. That was the hard part, but ultimately it wasn't that bad. But yeah, so next episode, I think I already explained this, but in case I didn't, we're gonna be lifting the engine up a little bit so that I can. That's it. Talk to you guys later. Peace.